For me, the answer is very clear. It's not. Because the social cost is too high, the inequalities will further increase, and you may call it intended or unintended consequences, but I've seen enough evidence around the country now, after having gone to the field, that people's rights have been trampled. Police and all kinds of forces have come even at midnight and thrown them out. Bulldozers have raising crops, and they have bribed government officials to show fertile land as barren land. I've gone to a place called Raigad. You can see it is fertile, and in the government record it is shown as barren land. So we are creating a monster of corruption. I think the social costs are too huge. I don't see any benefits. And if I should only benefit a few people, even if you create an SEZ somewhere, people like you and me will get a job there. So for whom are you doing this? I don't understand. If it is for the poor, then you do something directly for the poor. No? Why do you have to do all this rigmarole and say it's development? Agriculture depends on food processing, and food processing is what is happening is coming from the villages to the big towns and cities, and then the processed food is going back there also because people are eating there. You create huge tax and other incentives for creating in the hinterland of India, and create the infrastructure, road, water, electricity, and all the decentralized industrialization which makes sense to those people. That will do several things. One is that it will reduce carbon emissions because you don't have to transport up and down, it will get locally processed. The cost of transportation will come down because processed food transportation is far more efficient than transportation of raw materials up and down, and will create local employment, which is the most important thing. And we have neglected again and again the agricultural sector because I think we have not invested enough. There are two major things that have happened. Is the Rural Employment Guarantee Act and the Rain-Fed Watershed Authority. These two things, they are on paper they are good. NREG is actually delivering in many places. You can use those funds to revive agriculture, which basically means reviving the water bodies through rainwater harvesting, etc., which I have seen again and again tremendously improves agricultural productivity. And reviving the forests, rejuvenating the natural resources, and it doesn't cause any adverse impact at all. In fact, it just improves the environment like anything. You will see faster rates of growth and much less social cost. So we have to spread the wealth around. I'm not saying that you tax the rich and distribute to the poor. I'm saying you spread the wealth around by a policy like what I've been mentioning, where wealth is created through the length and breadth of the country, and release the energies of ordinary folks. You remove the constraints and you see what they'll do, including in the rural areas. So you need bureaucratic reform and red tape reform and change in industrial policy. For example, the IT sector doesn't pay any income tax. But if you set up a farmer set up a food processing unit, they have to get 25 permissions, whereas in the SEZ you are rolling it out. You give the same facility to these guys, remove all taxes to them, then you see what happens. As though human rights and development are antithetical to each other. I think, like what I've been just saying, they just go hand in hand. I don't see any contradiction at all. The vision I'm giving you links democracy, development and human rights it doesn't create conflict.